The locals called it the Whistler House. The Forrester family found their dream home, a charming, slightly dilapidated Victorian house at the end of a cul-de-sac. It was quirky, full of character, and affordable. A steal, the realtor said. A little project. Sarah smiles as she unpacks a box marked kitchen. She holds a ceramic rooster as she's looking for its new home. She loved all the nooks and crannies, the way the light fell through the stained glass on the landing. Their son, Leo, loved the long, sloping hallways perfect for his toy cars to roll down, with plenty of places to run and play. Mark, ever the pragmatist, noted the odd angles, the way none of the walls seemed to be a perfect 90 degrees. He taps on a wall with a hammer. He listens, a faint frown on his face. The first night, they slept deeply, exhausted from the move. A single light is on in an upstairs window. The house looks still and silent. The next morning, Sarah's in the kitchen. She goes to open a cabinet for a coffee mug. She pauses, hand outstretched. It was the small things at first. The cupboard that held the plates yesterday now seemed to be exactly 2 inches to the left. There's a faint outline on the countertop where the coffee maker was. It wasn't where she left it. She blamed the stress. She blamed Mark for not cleaning. Leo's on the floor, looking under his bed for a lost toy. He found a crack in the baseboard, a tiny, dark slit. He thought it looked like a mouth. He giggled at the thought. That night, Mark got up for a glass of water. He stood at the top of the stairs and felt a cold draft from the end of the hall, a hall that felt longer. The door to the bathroom at the end of the hallway seems a fraction smaller, further away. He shook his head. Tricks of the moonlight, or maybe of his tired mind. On the third day, Sarah is trying to hang a picture frame in the living room. She uses a pencil to mark a spot on the wall when pencil lead snaps. The plaster was strangely soft and hard in patches, like bone. The plaster seems to have a faint, fibrous texture, like dry skin. She dismissed it, just settling of an old house. Leo ran down the hallway. He slips and falls. He looks up, crying. The pattern on the runner rug is stretched, distorted. He said the floor tilted. The rug, he insisted, had moved. Sarah held him, but a knot of unease tightened in her stomach. Over her shoulder, she saw the doorway to the kitchen. It seems narrower. That night, the family is eating dinner. Sarah notices the kitchen window, Mark's shoulder, is now a different shape, slightly more oblong. The air felt thick, heavy. The windows didn't seem to let in as much light. Mark tried to open the back door. It sticks. The frame appears to be jamming in on it. He had to shoulder the back door to get it open. The wood groaned, a sound that was not just protest, but effort. That night, Sarah lies awake in bed, eyes wide open, listening. She heard it, a low, grinding sound, a deep, muscular stretch, like old timber, breathing. It wasn't the house settling, it was the house stirring. Sarah shaking Mark awake. Her face is pale in the moonlight. "Mark," she whispered. "Do you hear that?" Mark, groggy, listening. The sound has stopped. Silence. He heard nothing. He went back to sleep. Sarah did not. The silence is absolute, and somehow worse. The next morning, Sarah walks into the living room and freezes. Her coffee mug drops from her hand, shattering on the floor. The morning revealed the truth. And the truth was impossible. Where there had been a blank wall, there was now a door. A new door in the living room wall. A small, dark oak door that was absolutely, definitively not there yesterday. A door that led to nowhere. The new door. It's about 5 feet tall, too small for an adult to comfortably walk through. It had no handle. It was just a door. Mark, now awake, staring at the door. He runs his hand over the wood. It's cold. Mark, the engineer, was baffled. This is insane. Leo approaches the door, curious. He puts his ear against the wood. It's humming, he said. Sarah yanked him away, her face a mask of fear. Mark gets his tools. He tries to pry the door open with a crowbar. The wood doesn't splinter. It flexes. The wood didn't break. It gave like cartilage, then pushed back. It's seamless, as if the wall grew around it. It was part of the wall, as if it had always been there. The family huddled together, staring at the door. The light in the room begins to dim, as if the windows are filmy. They decided to leave. Sarah grabbing her car keys from a hook by the front door. She turns to leave. She stopped. Her keys slipped from her fingers. The stained glass panel is now a complex, spiraling pattern, not the simple flower it was before. Mark tries to open it. The handle turns, but the door doesn't budge. It was locked. No, not locked. Sealed, as if it had been painted shut 100 times over. Mark runs to a window. He tries to open it. The latches were frozen, the frames seemingly welded to the sills. Sarah is on her phone. She holds it up, frantic. No signal. The phone was dead. A hollow, empty hiss is the only thing on the line. Leo starts to cry. The sound is muffled, absorbed by the walls. They were trapped. The house had them. There is a low rumble. The floorboards tremble slightly. A picture frame tilts on the wall. The grinding sound returns, louder now. It was deafening. The walls visibly pulse inward, then relax. The hallway outside the living room elongates, the end disappearing into shadow. And the floors. The floor felt like stepping on stretched taffy. A new archway forms in the dining room wall, stone and mortar flowing like liquid to create a new passage. An opening into a dark, descending corridor. The ceiling sagged, bulging downward and fractures grotesquely, then hardened into a new, alien shape. Mark, Sarah, and Leo back into the center of the living room, holding each other. They are terrified. They clung to each other in the heart of the chaos. Their home was no longer a shelter. It was a living, changing labyrinth. The small new door in the living room wall slowly creaks open. Just a crack. Darkness spills out. An invitation or a threat. A breath of cold, wet air washed over them, ruffling Sarah's hair. It smelled of deep, dark soil. Leo points a trembling finger at the doorway. "It's bigger," he whispers. And he was right. The doorway is now large enough to walk through. The doorframe had relaxed, widened. It was now a perfect opening into blackness. Sarah grabs a fireplace poker. Her knuckles are white. Mark brandished the crowbar. They were pathetic weapons against architecture itself. The dragging sound gets closer. Something glistens in the dark just beyond the doorway, pale and glistening, shifting in the abyss. The family starts backing away, toward the sealed front door. Nowhere to run. The house wasn't done. A staircase erupts from the floor, spiraling up into a hole that opened in the ceiling, and then it emerged. A thick, blind, worm-like tendril. Pale as a grub. It slid over the threshold, feeling its way across the rug. More followed. Like snakes, a nest of them, probing, exploring their new territory. The house's nervous system. Mark shouts and swings the crowbar at the nearest tendril. It connects with a wet thud. The tendril recoils. A clear, sap-like fluid oozes from the wound. The other tendrils thrash angrily. The house itself seemed to shudder in pain or anger. The grinding sound becomes a deafening roar. The floor tilts violently, like the deck of a ship, sending them sliding. Sarah loses her footing and her grip on Leo as she slides across the tilted floor toward the new staircase. Leo screams, reaching for her. She vanished into the dark mouth of the new staircase. Her scream was cut off by a sound like stone teeth grinding together. The floor snapped back into place, smooth, as if the staircase had never existed. Mark stared, horrified at the spot where his wife had disappeared. Leo sobbed. The tendrils continued to advance. The front door behind them groans. They turn. The stained glass is now a complex, angry red spiral. The front door unseals itself with a sound like tearing Velcro. It swings open, revealing not the street, but another dark, earthy corridor. A tunnel-like hallway, smelling of rot and damp. The pale tendrils pressed forward, herding them, corralling them toward this new exit. Mark picks up Leo, holding him close. He has no choice. Mark, holding Leo, steps through the front door into the darkness. The corridors narrow, walls made of packed earth and writhing roots that hung down like veins. It seems to stretch away into oblivion. The front door slams shut behind them, plunging them into absolute darkness. In the pitch black, you hear their panicked breathing. A faint bioluminescent fungus on the walls begins to glow, providing a sickly green light, lighting their way deeper in. They now see the hallway branches into 3 directions. The sounds were all around them now. Scratching, sliding. The house was alive, and it was hungry. And then, a whisper, echoing from a branch of the tunnel to their left. It sounded like Sarah. Leo. Leo struggles in Mark's arm. Mommy! Mark knows it's a trick. His face is a mask of agony and terror, but what other choice did they have? Mark adjusts his grip on Leo and starts walking slowly down the left-hand tunnel toward the whispering voice. The walls close in slightly behind them, and from the outside, the house sat silent and still on its tidy lawn. A second-floor window shutter slowly, quietly closes itself, waiting for the next dreamers to find it, waiting to grow again.